All right, so we're going to review for the first derivative test. The big idea here, right? We're going to find where the turning points are. We're going to find where it's increasing and decreasing. So we're going to take the derivative. We're going to make it equal to 0, and then we're going to solve it. So I'm going to factor out an x. Let's see if I made this work. So we're going to factor out an x. I might have not made this work. This actually never equals 0. Only 0 equals 0. So we only have one critical number at 0. This, if you try to solve it, we'd have imaginary. Nothing would make this 0. So 0 is the only answer. So that's our critical number. Then we draw a number line. 0 is there. And then into the derivative. So if I plug in -1, it's a negative plus and another negative. If I plug in +1, so that means at 0, it decreases and then increases. So at 0, and if I plug in here, -1 is a local minimum. So that's the big idea here, that you take the derivative equal to 0, draw a number line, plug it back into the derivative, see if it's positive or negative, and then understand. So decreasing and then increasing, that's a minimum. And then once you know it is, plug that into the top and you get your point. Let's look at another one. This is the one people are having a hard time with, when it was a fraction. So let's see if I can create something here. Let's practice this one together. So write it down. Same big idea. The derivative is going to be the quotient rule. So that's the bottom times the derivative of the top minus the top times the derivative of the bottom, and then the bottom squared. Now, I already know one critical number is +1, because +1 makes it undefined. It's not going to be a turning point. It's an asymptote. But it's still a critical number to put on my number line. Then I look at only the numerator. So I'm going to distribute. So 2x times x, 2x times -1, and then -x squared. And I want to solve that. So combine like terms, that's 1x squared minus 2x, and then factor it. And you can see the other critical numbers are 0 and 2. Now we're going to draw a number line for the first derivative. And I'll put them in order. And then I'm going to go back to the derivative. So when I simplified it down, ultimately I had x squared minus 2x over x minus 1 squared. So the derivative, once I reduced it, simplified it down, this is what I'm going to plug into. So a negative number here, so -1, a negative times a negative, it's going to be a positive over a positive. If I plug in 1/2, it's going to be negative. If I plug in 1.5, it's going to stay negative. And if I plug in a number bigger than 2, like 3, it's going to be positive. So this is an asymptote. So this is a maximum. This is a minimum. So we have a local max at 0, and then I plug into here, 0 gives me the answer 0. And I have a local minimum at 2, and then 2 squared, 2 take away 1. So that's 4 over 1, which is 4. All right, so there's your review. Mr. G Math, over and out. Good luck. Good job redoing your quiz.